Well, we just opened a couple of hours ago in Mainland and it went really well. We've already sold a couple of items. And one cannot grow fast enough. Especially as Black entrepreneurs, our growth has been suppressed for so long that we cannot expand fast enough. Africa Rise, as my brainchild, has always been about a pathway to market for both ends. Because the customer wants ease. People are really time-starved right now. They cannot go to our little small studios or our far-flung small stores. We have to be where money is being spent and where there's the most foot traffic and where it's easiest for people to access our products. But at the same time, we need designers to be able to get into those spaces, and it's very difficult. There's many barriers of entry. So I felt that it is my duty as a designer who feels quite senior right now, because I'm 37, and I've been doing this for the last 13 years, that I've had my own retail stores. What is the next step? How do I create a pathway to market? How do I create a real way for design students to say, after college, what can I aim for? Where can I put my products? Where is a store that best represents what is the best in South African fashion, African art, crafts? Really just a pathway to success, a pathway to growth, and a pathway to monetizing our talents and our skills. How I started, my friend and I, Atipatra Ruga, who's a fine artist now, which, funny enough, I started at fine art, he started at fashion, and now we've swapped. He's a fine artist, and I'm fully in fashion. We were stuck at a store called La Belle in the Muse in Rosebank when we first started. We used to sew in our little apartments. I was staying, I think, in West Dean, and he was staying in Blackgowrie. And we used to sew our little garments and take them to the boutique in the Rosebank Muse. It was called La Belle at the time. We were, I think, third years. And that's how our careers actually started, because literally our products, which we were making in our small houses, could be put into a store that had all these other beautiful brands inside. And our garments were beautifully made and could be priced correctly. We didn't have to undercut ourselves or interact with people at all. We're just product designers. And literally that's where my business started from having garments in a store. So for me, it made sense because it has worked for me. So it wasn't really something that's complex. I looked at it and said, that does not exist anymore. There aren't any real stores that are not perhaps mass market. There's not design-led boutiques per se. And that's what I wanted to create, a space where designers can have their products there next to even more glorified brands, and the product can stand on its own because these designers are talented. And with what I'm doing with Sita is that I've paired them up with young seamstresses so that they get the best possible product out, so that quality is not an issue. And then we also support them financially, so this is not a financial strain on them. So their basics are covered and they can really give this a good, honest go, because Black entrepreneurs, we've got so much that's happening and so much just against us that we need holistic support. It cannot just be, oh, here's a store, get into the store. With what will I buy the fabric? Who's going to make this stuff? How will I pay for my transportation? And all of that needs to be covered. If you say you're supporting a young person who is already very talented, has already done the hard work of going through school or apprenticeship, they've done the hard work, against all odds. So they've proven that they're in this. So my part and the Sita's part was to give holistic support and see from the 9 young brands who can really make the best of it. But I think all of them will benefit because it's a 6-month period of really just being in an environment that is educational, that's outcomes driven, and also where they get to not be alone. They get to be sharing knowledge with each other, because peer-to-peer is very important. It can't just be from the top down. Yes, I will be teaching and instructing, but at the same time, the learners need to understand together. And sometimes when they don't get something, I'll need to leave the room and the other one says, what did that guy say? Then they can teach each other. So I think it's going to be very fruitful, and I'm very excited about that. I'm Thula Sindi, and I'm your cover star for the January issue of Careers magazine.